Okay.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of San Francisco Presents Netrunner. That's the name of the show, I guess. I have with me a game from a recent game night kit at Games of Berkeley in Berkeley, California. Both players have taken a mulligan, mentioned that right off the start, and I have with me commentating Eric, who's playing on the left side of the screen. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing well. Good to be here, Brian.
And we have Andrew, Mr. Andrew Cortez on the right side of the screen. He also commentates on this channel quite a lot. So two commentators on this channel playing off. And we have Jinteki PE versus Noise. So what do you think about this matchup when you're facing Noise here as PE?
Well, obviously we're both playing core set only, right? That's probably what's happening.
Yeah, core set tournament, right?
Except he's clearly cheating here with the cash. That's not
well,
fair.
you know, that's Andrew's way.
Yeah.
You just have to expect that from him.
Yeah. So, I mean, as PE, I'm on the left here. I'm a little bit worried about Noise just trying to avoid my traps, right? And kind of going for the mill and playing solitaire. So we'll see if Andrew's going to be aggressive here and is going to kind of check my remotes, or if he's going to more sit back and play conservatively and try to disarm me with cards like Imp and just playing a lot of viruses.
And do you want to briefly go over your deck? Maybe snatch and grab.
Yeah, so this
very good.
This is actually a pretty big play early. I had a temporary money lead. I thought there's never going to be a better opportunity, and you can really slow down Noise if you get that early Aesops right.
Oh so yeah, for sure.
That was the goal there. We'll see that this actually doesn't end up impacting the game very much, but I thought it was a good decision.
Sometimes the thing with Noise is it's a one install cost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Noise also run 3 Aesop just for that, just for consistency reasons mostly, not because a lot of people are doing snatch and grab, but you want it really early.
Exactly. So I know he probably has more in his deck, but my thought is if I can get that out of the way early, it'll really be a hit if he doesn't find another copy later. I'm pretty positive he has one, but we'll see if that actually ends up working out.
Oh sure, yeah, and you never know. He maybe doesn't draw another Aesops the whole game, but there it is.
There you go.
He drew into it this turn, I think.
I costed him a good click and a credit.
Yeah. You know, he had to draw the card too, so there's that. I guess he was going to draw it no matter what. But you know, it was you have snatch and grab, and you had that advantage, so you might as well push it.
Right. Right.
Yeah, you also cost him those 3 credits, on that turn, rather. He would have already had those 3 credits, so that's a thing. I think it was the right play still. So what are you testing here? What is the threat if he doesn't check this right here?
I like to throw down a 1-pointer early, oftentimes, as PE, just to get a sense of if the opponent is going to run or not. I don't know if that's actually an agenda. I don't quite remember all the details of this game, so we'll see. But obviously, there are going to be a lot of remotes. There'll be a lot of unadvanced ones. I'm going to Motion Notion out some things. So right now, just kind of trying to set up my board. As PE, you want to have a lot of money, and you want to have a lot of remotes with options to kill the runner via a combination of cards. And so here we go. Yep. Motion Notion.
I think what you just said is really important to proper PE play. Having options. It's not just about having building up one way to kill the runner. It's kind of about providing a lot of opportunities and waiting for the runner to make that one mistake where one of these opportunities will be executed upon.
Exactly, and just kind of patiently bide your time and see what happens. And so Andrew here, very aggressive, runs that Mushin card right away and gets a House of Knives. So he made obviously the right decision there.
Yeah, and it looks like he had is that 6 cards? It better be. Yeah, it's 6 cards. So he was playing around the June bug, although that could have been an overrider, which probably would have been far worse.
Right. Yeah, so he has Wildside down. Wildside's obviously even better in this matchup than it usually is with Noise, because it means he's going to start his turn with plenty of cards in hand and will be able to check a remote without fear of too much.
Sure. And getting that House of Knives was huge. Early, how do you think that impacts the game when you get that early House of Knives scored?
Oh, I mean, that's just so huge. It sets up kill combinations. It also, that means 4 net damage over the course of the game, right? So it makes the attrition a lot more probable, where I just get the other player to mill out their entire deck and basically have no way of stealing the last agenda. So it was a really big play that he stole that early.
He's running on this new remote with the imp out.
Yep, so drops the imp and is checking it. He's clearly showing here that he's going to be quite aggressive and isn't going to just give me anything.
So he's most certainly going to take this. Takes 3 net damage on this. How often, I mean, do you play this PE deck a lot?
Yeah, I would say Personal Evolution is my favorite corporation. I don't think it's super well positioned in the current metagame, but I do play it. I brought just fun decks to this tournament, and I think PE is just absolutely the most fun you can have. So that was the idea.
And PE always has a shot of winning. Like I just played against a brand new player. It must have been his 3rd game. He was playing Corset PE against like my very evolved wizard deck with all the expansion cards, and he just killed me. Like PE can always win.
It really can. It's you get a lot of wins kind of like by accident, which is part of what's fun. But
so it looks like, what did you just do there? Did you just purge? Oh, you purged the imp away, right?
Yeah, I purged imp. I often will do that, even if it's the only virus on the table, just because I really don't want him getting up in HQ and taking out my neural EMPs. Is usually what I'm worried about most. You want to have like 1 or 2 neural EMPs in hand. And it's really difficult if Noise is aggressive and is running through my ice, which is generally going to be porous. You know, it's not going to end the run. It's not going to keep him out. So
yeah, he could get into HQ if he wanted. That's why he had Lamprey up earlier, and I kind of wanted him to try and use that. And he's having a little bit of difficulty running. I think he's having a difficulty finding Mimic maybe, or just finding the tempo to play Mimic. But we should mention here he played Hacktivist support, right? Did that influence your decisions in this game?
So honestly, I saw that and I contemplated whether there's like any assets that I res in this deck. That's not going to matter too much, I don't think. Basically, all it affects is Jackson Howard, to be honest. If I'm resing a Ronin, which is another asset in the deck that does 3 net damage, right? Like at the point where I res Ronin, you're going to die, so it doesn't matter that I discard a card.
Sure.
All right, so we see a check on archives here running through a pup.
Ooh, so there. Okay, so now Hacktivist definitely triggers.
Yep. So okay, it triggered once. There you go.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's like resing Jackson causes Hacktivist to hit, and then you get to use Jackson on that card that was Hacktivist.
Yeah.
Hacktivist.
And that's actually exactly what me and Andrew are discussing right now. Is the order of things happening. So I res before the access, which gives me a chance to save the discarded card. Which makes it fairly good there. And I think I'm just pulling back agendas. He had installed quite a few viruses by this point, milled quite a few things. So that was a pretty good time to check archives, I think.
And I would guess that he had checked about, put down about at least 5 viruses. So you had... Wow, so he got probably 3 mills at least, 3 virus or 3 agenda mills, and that Hacktivist might have hit an agenda too, because you let him have the Chronos project.
Yeah, I did just let him have that. It's an early Chronos project is something I'm willing to give away. Obviously, it's super powerful later in the game, and this also means that he's sitting on 3 stolen agendas. So if I can find Philotic Entanglement, that does 1 net damage for every 1 scored. Plus the net damage for the ability, so that's 4 right there. And that's kind of the kill situation I hope to set up here, but we'll see if that happens.
Do you often, do you have a preference, like, do you try and motion out the Philotic, or do you try and never advance it, or is there any strategy there? You just kind of take it as it goes?
Usually take it as it goes. Obviously, it's really great if you can motion it, because then you can score it and do something else. So you can score it and do a neural EMP.
Sure.
Oftentimes, though, just like installing it on the or never advanced, like this, throwing out some remotes. And I think that's kind of what I'm trying to play on here, too, is his fear that I might have Philotic, and he's beginning to get into a dangerous territory. So putting out a couple more remotes, I would be very surprised if one of those wasn't a trap.
Yeah, I'm thinking what is the asset trap does a net damage for every card they have in hand.
Psychic Field.
Psychic Field, yeah. If one of those is Psychic Field, he can be in a really rough spot.
Yeah, and that was what he was playing around, checking all these never advanced remotes earlier, being quite aggressive. If he had hit a Psychic Field, that would have been bad. They're definitely in the deck. It's a very good card.
Ooh, he had Imp, but he plays it second before.
Yeah, so that's the sequencing there is definitely not ideal.
Yeah, he could have hit that Neural Imp. He got it out of the way.
Yep.
Do you know, I wasn't paying attention, if he saw any Neural MPs in your trash?
I don't think he did, but I'm not certain. Okay, so he got it that time. Running back in, that was a last click run.
Are you really?
Yeah, the last click run. But
see, that's
obviously
the kind of stuff I end up doing and losing the game. And, me and Andrew have similar play styles, so there you go.
Right.
But it worked. He got it.
Yeah, so obviously the risk of snare is just terrible there, and he has 2 valuable assets installed. Okay, so I score out of Gia Hands. That's going to do double work. It'll get rid of Hacktivist, and that should secure my economy for the rest of the game. You don't need a lot of money as PE, but it's really valuable with Gia Hands. I find you can go from 0 to 4 credits. So you can go from totally broke to being able to threaten snare. Is what makes that super important.
And as PE, I guess you're if you could throw down 1 remote a turn and just make a little money, that's a pretty good way to. Okay, so he gets your celebrity gift taken care of.
Yep.
Probably okay. I mean, if he keeps going into HQ to try and get a different card, he's giving you money, so might as well take away your other money card.
Yeah,
so
and
that is
I'm not too
spoilers, right?
Right, yeah. So Andrew just installed spoilers, and I had to ask him what it does, because I don't think I've ever seen it in play. Spoilers
so that is when an agenda is scored. Is it scored and stolen, or just scored?
I think it's just scored. And that was what I was asking about, was it's when I score an agenda, I have to trash the top card of R&D. So it's basically like doing the same effect as Noise Ability, except when I score as well. So he's really putting on some milling pressure there with that.
He's doing a little mill dance there. Yeah, you both are just trying to mill each other out, basically, is what's going on.
Right. And he's had Wildside running this whole game and has Faust out. So I know that it's going to be possible for me to tax him quite a lot of cards as I install an upgrade in HQ.
Okay, so here's my guess, is that's Hokusai on HQ right now, would be my guess. And I would say you should probably just res that now in case he happens to have another Hacktivist.
That's a good thought.
That might not be Hokusai, of course.
It's not. But
okay, well, don't ruin the surprise.
All right, I won't say what it is. I think it does come into play.
Okay, yeah, if it doesn't come into play, let us know. But
it could be anything. It could be Caprice, right? Like Jinteki has pretty good upgrades. Probably not Marcus Batty. I'm not going to trigger the pop-up window subroutine again.
Oh, you get 2 pop-up windows?
I know, right? Okay, so he sees a Ronin, sweep, Wall of Static, something else?
Yes, I saw the 4th one and then I immediately forgot it. My memory's horrible.
I think it might have been Hedge Fund.
Yes, that was it, Hedge Fund. And he's also got a Data Sucker now, chomping away. He's not hit up R&D yet. He's willing to. Okay, now here comes some more ice on R&D. Speaking of.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so with that, I think I'm trying to telegraph that I don't have any agendas in hand.
Which means you should run into your hand, because you put the upgrade down earlier.
Right. Yeah,
those spoilers have definitely bought him a little bit of time just to develop his board state some more.
So that's the thing, is that I'm at 1 point here, and he has 2 spoilers out, and has been milling me continuously throughout this game. So that last one he whiffed on 4 axes, which is pretty improbable in the high agenda density of a personal evolution deck. So he's really putting pressure on me to basically have no possibility of scoring out this game, is kind of where this is leading. There's very unlikely I'm going to be able to score enough points in time before I run out of cards in deck and lose by mill.
And with his ASOPs, I'm not ASOPs, with his wild side, especially adjusted chronotype wild side, clickless wild side, it seems like in order to threaten a trap, you're going to have to Mushin. I'm not sure if install advance is really going to cut it at this point.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
I mean, if I was on his shoes and I see you install advance, I'd probably just go run it.
Yeah, there's really not a lot of reason not to. If it's a overwriter, that still does me a lot of good. 2 brain damage is usually enough to bring people down and to kill territory. But
oh wow, that was a really interesting play. He just scavenged the cache.
Yep. So I guess we didn't mention, but we are both running post most wanted list decks, which I think makes Andrew's build kind of interesting. So obviously, Noise loves clone chip, as we see her run on HQ here, and it's a Chrysium grid, which is
okay.
It's stopping him from getting a data sucker token, and I have a lot of money, so I figure it's worth rezzing. My other thought is that Lamprey triggers on successful HQ runs, so.
If only he had another imp. I'm sure the scavenge is in there for imp. This is like Andrew. He definitely does. Like he'll play a pretty standard deck, but then he does a few weird things like spoilers. I couldn't really get to work in Noise, but he's doing it, and then he has the scavenge. I don't think I've ever seen that in Noise.
Right. Yeah. And so I mean, my thought is that that's kind of your clone chip replacement. Obviously, it's not real time, but on the other hand, you get a discount there. It actually makes cash worth more money. It's really good at reloading David and Imp. So Scavenge is a great card for Anarch and is probably going to see a lot of play post MWL.
And he can also just convert a cache into a parasite, like you were saying. It's kind of a clone. It's sort of a clone chip. It's more recursion at least.
Yep. Yeah.
And has a lot of utility, like you said, for David and Imp and so on.
Okay, so I Mushin and actually ice something. To be honest, I very rarely ice remotes, so I'm a little curious of what I'm doing there. It's almost certainly not like valid ice. It's just trash to get him to spend money in cards. But.
I mean, it looks to me like it's probably like Eli Ronin would be my guess.
That's right. We did see the Eli in hand. I think I just have one of those in the deck because of the added influence restriction.
Okay.
So we do see a run on R&D here. First ice is Yagura, and he breaks both with Faust. And there's I think that's the second Eli.
Ooh,
that's
this
been
is
there
a risky
all game.
If he's going to spend clicks on this, I mean, he's down to, I think, 4 cards in hand, so a snare there would have been super bad.
Yep. And I think we missed this, but he actually sold off Wildside to Aesops. And Chronotype over the past couple turns, which I think was like a really, really smart play. He's set up. He's going to break with Faust. He has the cards he needs, and the pressure is all on my court with spoilers. So he is afraid of running out of deck and stopped that from being a win condition for me. He's taken himself off of a clock and has kind of slowed things down.
He's in control of that clock now, and if I had to guess, I'd say he has about 15 cards left in his stack.
Yeah, that's probably right, given the game and how long Wildside ran. But that's like a really interesting play that you don't see many people do, but it is an option once you have Aesop, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you want to do it at some point in this matchup. Okay, yeah, he's pointing out that you should have one more data sucker.
Yeah,
I missed that too. And okay, so you did not do anything with that remote, right?
I did not, which to me that says, maybe it's a Ronin. It's a little bit protected, and then I can... Yeah, so 3 spoilers. I'm laughing to myself because I know that I'm going to mill myself out if I try to score.
Yeah, your win here seems to be Ronin or Philotic with those Neural EMPs. You still have at least one Neural EMP in hand. You might have a second coming up soon.
Yep. So that's really put me in a tough spot, to be honest, at this point. Turning off Wildside was a really good move, too. Generally, when I'm playing PE, I like seeing Wildside on the table because it does mean that the win by attrition is a lot more viable. But Andrew is kind of just like sitting back. He's got a really great board state. He can break all the ice in my deck, basically, and has that triple spoilers, putting on pressure, stopping me from scoring. And meanwhile, I'm digging for something here, some kind of solution. Probably those traps you talked about. Like I need Ronin or Philotic Entanglement, something that's going to be able to put on pressure without milling my deck out.
You need another Jackson, too. I'm not sure if you milled those, maybe, but God, a Jackson would do so much work for you right now. You'd be able to get back the Motions or the Neural EMPs, or there's so many things right now that I'm sure you can use.
Yeah, that's very true. So I remember this. Both of those new remotes are agendas that I threw out, and Andrew goes ahead and runs HQ, click 1, and so I think that I assume to myself that he's not going to go and check the remotes now, but he does. Gets a House of Knives there. Okay, so that puts him on 5 points, but I'm still thinking, all right, so he checked 1. He's probably not going to check both remotes.
Oh, yeah.
And then he goes and runs the other one. So I was really surprised by this, honestly. I thought he would just sit back. Yeah, it's a fetal AI, and so that's the game. He has
go up to 7.
7 points. I was really surprised by that. I thought he would sit back with all those spoilers and not run the never advanced remotes, because their worst case scenario isn't all that bad for him. Instead, he suddenly picked up the aggression there. Those 3 runs on that turn was really surprising to me and paid off, obviously. You know, he had a really good read and he picked up 3 points.
I'd have to ask him, but I'm guessing he just was feeling, I haven't seen too many agendas recently that, he does know you have high density, so he figures they must be somewhere. And, yeah, the third run there was the troubling one. That's what could have got him.
Yeah. I mean, this is a great game, though, to see that you can be aggressive and run last click against PE and still survive. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but obviously Andrew had a lot of really great runs there. He checked so many remotes and stole a lot of agendas right off the table, which is not necessarily the script playing against PE. The script is generally you want to hit R&D as much as possible so that you can trash the advanceable traps, and all you need to really worry about is snare and fetal AI in R&D. But that was a very good line of play in that particular match.
I'm going back. I want to see. Oh, okay. So that the 3 advanced thing was the overrider.
Yeah. So if I had baited a run there, that would have opened up a win for me. But
yeah, I think it was probably overrider Eli is what that was. See, I'm looking at the ice. Yep, that was overrider Eli. Yeah, so that's the game. Yeah, he definitely took a couple risks there. He did that 4th click run on R&D, I think, which, he could have hit a snare, or like even a fetal AI at that point could have been pretty devastating.
Yeah.
And then obviously that final, maybe he had, I don't think he has it, but I was going to say maybe he has I've had worse, and that could have influenced that 3rd click run.
That's a good point.
I didn't see it.
I didn't see one the whole game, which is a little bit surprising. You'd think if they were in there, he would probably have 3. But yeah, I mean that's a good point. He probably did in hand at that point. It definitely makes you a lot more comfortable with taking 3 net damage if there's a great possibility you're just going to draw those cards right back.
Yeah, exactly. And and like you said, selling the wild side, I think he timed that pretty well. He definitely didn't need the money from it, but he needed to slow down the sort of attrition that win condition that was looking like it could be a possibility if he let the wild side trigger another 4 times or so.
Exactly.
And everyone should look at spoilers again. I mean, that did a lot of work here. I don't know how much work that does in like against food coats or something like that. So that's something to consider, but it certainly helped a lot here.
Right.
Any last comments on that game before we finish up here?
No, not really. I mean, it was interesting. I think some interesting lists, things that you're going to see a lot of post MWL. I don't know if it's going to be noise with spoilers exactly, but you're probably going to see a lot of noise and personal evolution. Jinteki didn't have any cards on that list, so there's a good chance you'll see more Jinteki, whether it's RP or PE or some other odd blend.
And this tournament also was from, I think, January 10th, and that was like 2 or 3 days after the most wanted list was announced, I believe. So you guys really jumped on that pretty quick.
Yeah, that's right. I think a lot of people, had that same feeling about they just want to test out new decks, try with the limitations, see what works and what doesn't work. So.
Yeah, and get ready for store championships, which are majority of which are in most wanted list format. So that's what I've been doing. I think a lot of players in the area have been practicing for that. So thanks for helping to commentate, Eric.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
It's always great to get that insight from someone who is playing in the game. So that is very much appreciated. And thanks everyone for watching. We'll have more up on the channel very soon. So hopefully a lot of more interesting games like this, interesting matchups, and good stuff to come. So thanks for watching.